Have you ever met someone who made you believe in yourself just a little bit more? Someone who saw something in you that you couldn't see in yourself and pushed you to become the person you were always meant to be? Imagine being that person for someone else. Imagine being the spark that lights up their potential, the hand that helps them rise when they fall. When you inspire growth in others, you don't just change their life, you change your own. And that power, that quiet strength can ripple out and transform everything. There's something incredibly powerful about authenticity. It's one of those things that can be hard to define, but when you see it, you recognize it. It's that rare quality that makes someone stand out in a world where so many people are trying to be something they're not. Authenticity is a force, and it's something that can't be faked. It's a rare and valuable trait in a world that often encourages us to hide our true selves behind masks, to become versions of who we think others want us to be. But the truth is, the more we try to conform, the less we connect. The more we hide behind a facade, the more we lose touch with our own essence. There's a reason that in the deepest parts of us, we long for authenticity. We crave realness, truth, and honesty in relationships. We seek out connections with people who are just who they are without trying to be anything else. It's not about perfection. It's about being real, about showing up as you truly are, flaws and all. And when you do that, something remarkable happens. You allow others to do the same. You give people permission to drop their own masks, to be authentic too. The power of authenticity doesn't lie in seeking approval or validation from others. It doesn't come from trying to please people, but rather in living in alignment with your own truth. You stop seeking external validation and begin to trust yourself. You stop worrying about whether people will accept you because you know deep down that the right people will. And the ones who aren't meant for you, they'll fall away. But that's not a loss. It's a release. A release from the pressure of pretending to be something you're not. A release from trying to fit into molds that were never made for you. What's extraordinary about authenticity is how it draws people in. When you show up as yourself, unapologetically and without pretense, it creates a connection that's real, and real connections have the power to change everything. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how many accomplishments you've achieved. If you don't bring your true self to the table, the relationship will always be shallow. It will always lack depth. But when you show up as the real you with no need to impress, something shifts. People feel that energy. They feel the honesty in your presence. It's magnetic. It pulls people in. It creates an atmosphere where others feel safe enough to be real too. It opens the door to genuine connection, where vulnerability can exist without judgment. There's a beautiful kind of strength that comes with authenticity. It's not about being loud or commanding attention. It's about being quiet in your own truth. There's a peace that comes with being comfortable in your own skin. You no longer have to prove yourself to anyone. You're not constantly seeking external approval because you've already validated yourself. You've already given yourself permission to be who you are without fear of judgment or rejection. That's true freedom. And that kind of freedom is something people notice. It's inspiring. It gives others the courage to be authentic as well. When you see someone truly comfortable with who they are, it encourages you to embrace your own unique qualities, to let go of the fear of being seen for who you truly are. But authenticity isn't always easy. It's not always the path of least resistance. It requires vulnerability. It requires the courage to be open, to show up, even when you're unsure, even when you're afraid. Because when you're authentic, you make yourself open to both love and rejection. You expose yourself in ways that can feel terrifying, but in doing so, you unlock the ability to experience the fullness of life. You open yourself up to deeper relationships, to deeper experiences, because you're no longer hiding behind a mask. You're no longer pretending to be someone you're not. And while the fear of rejection can be overwhelming, the reality is that when you are authentic, The people who are meant for you will be drawn to you. They will see you, they will appreciate you, and they will love you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. When you embrace authenticity, you attract the right energy into your life. It's a magnetic force that brings in the people who are aligned with your values, your beliefs, your energy. And when you show up as yourself, you inspire others to do the same. You create a ripple effect that spreads outwards, a ripple that invites others to step into their truth as well. Imagine a world where everyone felt the freedom to be their true selves without fear of judgment or rejection. Imagine a world where we could all show up as we are, knowing that we are enough just as we are. That's the power of authenticity. It changes everything. It shifts the way we relate to each other. It shifts the way we experience life. When you embrace your authenticity, you stop living in fear of being judged. You stop living for others and you start living for yourself. You stop putting so much energy into trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. Instead, you put that energy into discovering who you are and learning to love that person. You put that energy into building real, meaningful connections with others who appreciate you for the person you truly are. And in doing so, you create a life that is richer, fuller, and more fulfilling. You begin to understand that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. There's a kind of beauty that comes with authenticity that is unlike anything else. It's not about physical appearance or outward success. It's not about trying to be something you're not. It's about owning your story, your experiences, and your journey. It's about being proud of who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. It's about stepping into your power and owning the space you occupy. When you do that, when you stop pretending to be someone you're not, you unlock a level of peace and joy that cannot be found anywhere else. Because when you live authentically, you stop living for others. You start living for yourself. You begin to realize that the only approval you need is your own. And when you live from that place of authenticity, you stop caring so much about what other people think. You stop letting the opinions of others dictate your worth. You become immune to the noise and distractions around you because you know who you are and you stand firm in that knowledge. You stop seeking external validation because you already know that you are enough. You realize that the only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. So let me remind you of something important. Authenticity is not something you have to work hard to attain. It's not something you need to search for. It's already inside you. It's who you've always been. It's just waiting for you to stop hiding, to stop pretending, to stop conforming, and to finally step into the person you were always meant to be. And when you do, when you show up as your true self, you'll find that the world around you changes. You'll find that people respond to you differently. You'll find that the connections you form are deeper, more meaningful, and more real. Because authenticity is the foundation for everything that matters in life. And once you embrace it, you unlock a power that's been waiting for you all along. There's something about emotional depth that changes everything. We live in a world that often values the surface, what you look like, what you do, what you have. But real connection, the kind that touches your soul, comes from a much deeper place. It comes from the ability to open yourself to another person, to show them who you really are, and to let them in without the fear of judgment or rejection. When you connect with someone on this level, it's not just a moment in time. It's an experience that leaves an imprint, something they'll carry with them long after the moment is gone. Many people go through life skimming the surface. They're surrounded by noise, distractions, and fleeting interactions that never really get to the heart of who they are. But when you connect with someone on a deeper level, when you allow yourself to be seen for all of who you are, the scars, the stories, the fears, the dreams, it's a powerful thing. It's not about sharing everything all at once. It's about the willingness to be vulnerable, to be real, and to be present in a way that's rare in a world that often prizes detachment. You see, emotional depth isn't just about sharing your feelings. It's about being able to connect on a level that goes beyond words, beyond actions. It's the look in someone's eyes when they truly see you, when they understand you in a way that no one else does. It's the quiet moments of understanding when no words are needed because you both know exactly what the other is feeling. It's the trust that forms when you open up and share a piece of yourself, knowing that they'll accept you not in spite of your flaws, but because of them. For many people, that kind of connection is something they've never had before. They've been in relationships or friendships where everything was surface level. They've shared their stories, yes, but they've never really let anyone into the deeper parts of who they are. And because of that, they never experience the kind of connection that comes when you share your heart with someone who truly listens. They never know what it's like to be seen, really seen in all your vulnerability and still be loved, still be accepted. But when you make that kind of connection, something shifts. It's like a spark that ignites a fire. You begin to trust more deeply. You start to realize that you don't have to hide parts of yourself anymore. You no longer feel the need to put on a mask to pretend to be someone you're not. Instead, you begin to live in your truth. And when someone sees you for who you truly are, your strengths, your flaws, your scars, your dreams, they begin to understand you in a way that no one else does. They begin to appreciate the things about you that you may have once thought of as weaknesses. They begin to see the beauty in your vulnerability, and that changes everything. This level of emotional depth is something that not everyone is ready for. It requires courage, not just on your part, but on theirs as well. It's not easy to allow someone in, to open up to the possibility of being hurt. But the truth is, when you take that step, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you create an opportunity for a connection that goes beyond the surface. You create something real, something lasting, something that can't be easily forgotten. And that's the kind of connection that people yearn for, whether they realize it or not. What makes this connection so powerful is that it isn't based on anything superficial. It isn't about appearances or accomplishments or status. It's about the raw, unfiltered connection between two people who are willing to be real with each other. It's about sharing the things that matter most, the things that make you who you are. And when you allow yourself to connect on this level, you open up a world of possibility. You create space for trust, for understanding, and for a kind of love that isn't dependent on anything external. There's a certain magic that happens when two people connect like this. It's like they speak the same language even when they're not saying anything at all. It's the kind of connection that makes you feel like you've known each other for a lifetime, even if you've only just met. It's the kind of connection that feels effortless, natural, and real. And once you experience it, you realize that nothing else compares. The surface level relationships, the ones that are based on small talk and pleasantries, start to feel empty in comparison. You begin to crave the kind of depth that only comes when you allow yourself to be truly seen. For some, this kind of connection is something they've never known, but once they experience it, they can't forget it. They can't go back to the way things were before. They can't pretend that the shallow relationships they've had in the past are enough anymore. They realize that what they truly want is someone who can meet them at the level of emotional depth. Someone who is willing to open up and share their heart just as much as they are. This is what makes emotional depth so powerful. It creates a bond that isn't easy to break. When you connect with someone on this level, it's like you've shared a part of yourself with them that no one else can touch. You've opened up in a way that makes it impossible to go back to the way things were before. And that's the kind of connection that lasts, that withstands the test of time, because it's not based on anything fleeting. It's based on something real, something that transcends the superficial. The beauty of emotional depth is that it doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require you to have it all together, to be flawless, to be without faults. In fact, it's often the imperfections that make the connection even stronger. When you allow someone to see your imperfections, to see the parts of you that you might have kept hidden from the world, you invite them into a place of true understanding. And that understanding creates a bond that goes beyond anything superficial. But it takes time. It takes patience. It takes a willingness to be vulnerable, to let go of the fear that holds you back from truly connecting with another person. It's about letting your guard down, letting go of the need to protect yourself from getting hurt. And when you do, when you allow yourself to be emotionally open, you create the space for a connection that is unlike anything you've ever experienced. It's the kind of connection that changes you, that leaves an imprint on your heart, that stays with you long after the moment has passed. When you experience emotional depth, you begin to understand that real connection isn't about what you have in common or about how much time you spend together. It's about the quality of the connection. It's about how deeply you can understand each other, how deeply you can support each other, how deeply you can care for each other. And when you find that connection, you realize that nothing else matters. There's a quiet power in letting go, one that's often misunderstood. It's not the power of giving up or surrendering. It's the power of choosing yourself, of recognizing that holding on too tightly can weigh you down. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to walk away from something or someone, not because you don't care, but because you care enough to know when it's time to let go. It takes strength to release what no longer serves you. But in doing so, you free yourself to move forward, to grow, to become the person you are always meant to be. In life, we often find ourselves clinging to things that are familiar, even when they no longer bring us peace. We hold on to relationships, jobs, dreams, or even ways of thinking that have become comfortable, even if they're not healthy. The fear of the unknown, the fear of change, holds us in place. But what if the thing you're holding on to is the very thing that's holding you back? What if by letting go, you could discover a whole new chapter of your life, one that's far more rewarding than anything you've known before? Letting go doesn't mean abandoning your values, your essence, or your authenticity. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's about staying true to who you are, even when the world around you is shifting. You don't let go of your beliefs, your sense of self, or your vision just because things get hard. Instead, you release what no longer aligns with who you are, what no longer feels right. You keep your integrity intact while making space for new possibilities, new growth. Letting go is not about weakness. It's about recognizing that holding on to something that no longer serves you is an act of self-sabotage. It's like carrying a heavy weight for too long, even though you know you're getting tired. You might convince yourself that you can keep going, that you should keep pushing, but eventually it catches up with you. The weight drags you down, sapping your energy, your joy, your sense of purpose. Letting go is your opportunity to put the weight down and stand up straight again. There is immense strength in knowing when to release what's holding you back. It takes courage to look at something or someone that has been a part of your life and say, this is not serving me anymore. But here's the truth. By letting go, you are not abandoning it or them. You're choosing yourself. You're choosing the person you are becoming and the future that is waiting for you. It's not about forgetting the past or erasing the memories. It's about honoring them by recognizing that you have outgrown them, that it's time for you to step into something new, something more aligned with who you are. When you let go, it's not a rejection of the good that was there. It's a recognition that you are worthy of something more peace, more happiness, more growth. It's the belief that you are not bound by your past, that you are not defined by your mistakes, your fears, or the things you've held on to for too long. You are more than that. You are capable of evolving, of becoming better, of moving forward. And sometimes the only way to do that is by letting go of the things that weigh you down. It's easy to mistake letting go for weakness. Society often teaches us to hold on, to fight through the struggle, to never give up. But that's not always the wisest path. There's no shame in knowing when something is no longer serving you. In fact, there's great strength in recognizing that you deserve more and that you're willing to let go of what's no longer aligned with who you are or who you're becoming. It's an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you value yourself enough to make space for what's truly meant for you. When you let go, you allow yourself to heal. You make room for new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities to enter your life. Holding on to something that is no longer healthy for you only keeps you stuck in the past. Letting go gives you the freedom to move forward. It frees you from the chains of regret, of fear, of the emotional weight you've been carrying. It's not an easy process. There's no quick fix or simple answer. But when you make the choice to let go, you step into a new space where anything is possible. But here's the most important part. Even though you're letting go of something, you don't have to let go of yourself. In fact, it's precisely because you stay true to who you are that you're able to let go in the first place. It's your connection to yourself that gives you the strength to recognize when something no longer aligns with your path. It's your self-awareness that allows you to release what is no longer helping you grow. When you stay true to yourself, you trust that letting go is an act of self-preservation, not self-doubt. You trust that by releasing what no longer serves you, you are making space for the future you deserve. And while it's difficult, it's also freeing. Letting go means you're no longer bound by the expectations of others, by the opinions that others have of you. It means you're no longer tethered to the past, to the mistakes you've made, or to the things that didn't work out. You stop trying to live up to someone else's vision for you, and you start living up to your own. You start living for yourself, and in doing so, you become the person you were always meant to be. Strong, empowered, and free. There will always be moments when you'll be tempted to go back, to hold on to what you've just let go of. You'll question whether you made the right choice. You'll wonder if you're strong enough to keep moving forward. But the truth is, you are. You are more than capable of handling the uncertainty. You are more than capable of embracing the unknown, because every time you choose to let go, you're choosing yourself. You're choosing your growth. You're choosing your peace, and you're allowing yourself to become someone stronger, someone wiser, and someone who is finally free. So let go. Let go of the things that don't serve you anymore. Let go of the people, the situations, the fears, the regrets that have been holding you back. Let go of the self-doubt that keeps you stuck in the past. Let go of the idea that you have to keep holding on just because it's familiar. Trust that by letting go, you're making space for something better. And remember, you're not letting go of who you are. You're letting go of what's standing in the way of becoming the best version of yourself. And that in itself is a powerful act of strength. There's something extraordinary about being a safe space for someone else. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers or always knowing the right thing to say. It's about showing up for someone no matter what they're going through and letting them know that they can always rely on you. It's the quiet strength that comes from offering unwavering support, the kind that doesn't ask for anything in return, but simply exists because you care. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, being that safe space is one of the most profound gifts you can give. We all go through times in life when the world feels heavy, when the weight of everything seems like it might break us. In those moments, we often find ourselves searching for someone to lean on. We need someone who will listen without judgment, who will offer comfort without trying to fix us, and who will stand by us even when we don't have the strength to stand on our own. And for those who are fortunate enough to have that kind of support, it makes all the difference. It gives them the strength to keep going when everything feels like it's falling apart. You've probably been that person for someone You've been the one they could turn to, the one they could count on when things got tough. And in those moments, it wasn't about being a superhero or having all the right words. It was about your presence. It was about being there for them without expectations, without trying to change what they were feeling, but simply holding space for them to be who they were in all their vulnerability. That kind of support is rare, but when it's given, it's like a lifeline. It's the feeling of knowing that no matter what happens, someone has your back. It's the peace that comes from knowing that you don't have to navigate life alone, that there's someone who will stand by you, even when the road gets rough. And the beauty of it is that it's not about grand gestures. Sometimes the smallest acts of support, listening, holding their hand, offering a shoulder to cry on, mean more than anything else. For the person receiving that support, it's a gift they will carry with them for a lifetime. They will never forget the times when you were there for them, when you didn't hesitate to show up even when it wasn't easy. Those moments stay with them, becoming a part of who they are, a reminder that there are people in this world who care, who will stand by you through thick and thin. But this kind of support doesn't just help the person in need, it changes you too. When you show up for someone, when you offer them unwavering support, you grow as well. You learn what it means to be truly present, to give without expecting anything in return. You learn to put others first, to set aside your own worries and concerns for a moment, to focus on someone else's well-being. And in doing so, you become stronger, more compassionate, more connected to the people around you. Unwavering support isn't just about being there during the easy times. It's about standing by someone when things get hard, when they're at their lowest, and when they feel like they have nothing left. It's about offering a sense of stability in a world that often feels uncertain. It's about showing up when it's uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient, or when you're unsure of how to help. Sometimes just being there is enough. Sometimes the fact that you're standing beside them is all they need to feel like they're not alone. When you are someone's safe space, you become a pillar of strength in their life, and they in turn become a pillar of strength for you. There's a mutual respect, a sense of shared understanding that grows between you. It's the understanding that no matter what happens, you'll always be there for each other. That no distance, no hardship, no struggle will break that bond. There are moments in life when we all need a reminder that we're not alone, that we are seen and valued. When you offer unwavering support, you provide that reminder. You give someone the strength to keep going, the courage to face another day. You help them see that no matter how hard things get, there is always a way forward. Always someone who believes in them. Always someone who will help them navigate the darkness. And even though you may never fully understand the depth of the impact you've had, the truth is that your support will stay with them. They will remember the times you were there for them, even when it was hard for you. They will remember the comfort you gave them when they felt lost. They will remember how you made them feel safe, even when everything else around them felt uncertain. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest gift you give them is the permission to offer the same kind of support to others. Because when you show someone what it means to be a safe space, you teach them to be that safe space for someone else. You pass on the gift of unwavering support, creating a ripple effect that spreads outwards, touching lives in ways you may never see, but knowing that your actions have made the world just a little bit kinder, a little bit more compassionate. Being someone's safe space doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. It doesn't mean you have to fix everything. It simply means that you're there, you're present, and you're willing to stand by them no matter what. And in doing so, you become a source of strength and comfort, a reminder that we are all capable of giving and receiving love, of offering and accepting support, of showing up for one another, even when the world feels like it's too much to handle. The beauty of unwavering support is that it's a gift that keeps giving. You give it, and it changes lives. You offer it, and it transforms relationships. You offer someone a safe space, and you give them the gift of knowing that no matter what happens, they are not alone. And in return, you'll find that the more you show up for others, the stronger you become, the more connected you feel to the world around you. Because sometimes being a safe space is all it takes to make someone's world a little bit brighter. There's a quiet power in inspiring growth in others. It's not always a grand gesture, a massive transformation, or some monumental event. Sometimes growth happens in the smallest moments, the quiet exchanges, the things we don't even realize we're doing. But when you've inspired growth in someone, when you've helped them see themselves in a new light, it's a gift that stays with them for life. You may never fully know how far your influence reaches, but it's there, weaving itself into the fabric of who they are becoming. In life, we all need someone to believe in us when we don't believe in ourselves. We need someone who sees our potential, even when we can't see it ourselves. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that we have to be perfect, that we have to have it all together, that we need to be the best version of ourselves at all times. But the truth is, growth is a messy, imperfect journey. It's about stumbling, falling, and getting back up again. It's about facing our fears and our doubts and still pushing forward no matter what. And sometimes all it takes to spark that growth is someone who believes in you, who pushes you, who encourages you to keep going when you feel like giving up. When you inspire growth in someone, you give them permission to evolve. You show them that they're capable of more than they think. You help them unlock parts of themselves they never knew existed. It's like planting a seed and watching it grow into something strong and beautiful. You don't force it. You don't control it. You simply create the space for it to happen. And when it does, it's one of the most fulfilling experiences you can have, knowing that you've played a role in helping someone become who they were always meant to be. Growth doesn't always come in the way we expect. Sometimes it's not about learning a new skill or achieving a goal. Sometimes it's about the way someone starts to see themselves, the shift in their mindset, the understanding that they're not defined by their past, their mistakes, or their failures. It's about realizing that they are worthy of more, that they are capable of so much more than they ever thought possible. And when you inspire that kind of growth, you change their trajectory forever. What's powerful about inspiring growth in others is that it's not about you. It's not about taking credit or seeking recognition or being validated for your efforts. It's about the impact you have on someone else's life. It's about helping them find their own strength, their own path, their own purpose. It's about seeing the potential in them that they might not see themselves and encouraging them to reach for it. And when they do, when they start to step into their own power, there's no feeling like it, because it's not about them becoming what you want them to be. It's about them becoming who they are meant to be. You might never know the full extent of your influence. You might never see the exact moment when your words, your actions, your support sparked a shift in someone's life, but that's okay. Because growth doesn't happen in an instant. It's a gradual process. Sometimes the impact you make is only felt much later down the line. But the truth is, when you inspire someone to grow, you create a ripple effect that touches more than just them. It affects the people around them, the choices they make, the way they interact with the world. And that, in turn, has the power to create even more growth, more change, and more transformation. When you inspire growth in others, you also challenge them to become better versions of themselves. It's about helping them realize their own worth, their own potential, and their own strength. You help them see that their mistakes don't define them, that their struggles are not the end of their story, but simply a part of the journey. You give them the courage to face their fears, to push through the discomfort, and to embrace the uncertainty that comes with change. You help them become stronger, more resilient, more self-aware. And that growth isn't just limited to them. It's also something that happens within you. When you help someone grow, when you support them in their journey, you grow too. You learn from them. You are inspired by them. and you become a better person because of the impact you've had on their life. You start to see the world in a different way. You begin to understand that growth is a lifelong process, that we are all constantly evolving, constantly learning, and constantly becoming more than we were yesterday. Sometimes the hardest part of inspiring growth is trusting the process. It's knowing that you can't control someone else's journey, that you can't force them to change. Growth takes time and it requires patience. It requires giving someone the space to find their own way, even when it's hard to watch. But that's where the true power lies, not in the control, but in the belief that they can do it on their own, that they have everything they need within themselves to succeed. You can't force someone to grow. You can't make them see their potential before they're ready. But what you can do is provide the encouragement, the support, and the belief that they need to take that first step. You can create an environment where they feel safe enough to fail, to try, to risk, and to grow. You can be the person who helps them believe that they are worthy of success, worthy of happiness, worthy of everything they desire. And when they finally step into that growth, when they finally start to realize their potential, it's the most rewarding thing you will ever experience. Because in the end, the greatest gift you can give to someone is the gift of growth. It's the gift of believing in them when they don't believe in themselves. It's the gift of seeing their potential when they can't see it yet. And it's the gift of giving them the space and the support to become the person they are meant to be. And when you've inspired growth in someone, you've changed not just their life, but your own as well. Because growth, after all, is a shared experience. When you help someone rise, you rise with them. And that's the beauty of it. In the end, the true measure of impact is not always in the grand gestures, but in the quiet, everyday moments where we choose to show up for others. When you inspire growth, when you offer unwavering support, when you let go with strength and authenticity, you help someone become who they were always meant to be. But in doing so, you also become a better version of yourself. The connections we make, the ways we lift each other up, are what shape us, what make us stronger, and what make life truly meaningful. So remember this: when you choose to believe in someone, to support them, to push them toward their potential, you don't just change their world, you change your own too. You're not just a part of their story, you're a part of the legacy of growth and transformation that ripples through everyone you encounter. And that in itself is the most powerful thing we can do.